Holly drove into the parking lot of the company where she worked. Since she received a breast cancer diagnosis, she had to go in for surgery. The operation was a success, but it put her out of commission for the past 4 weeks. Every now and then, she still experienced pain, and she definitely wasn't herself. Unfortunately, there were bills to pay, and she couldn't take any more time off work. But something seemed off when she pulled into her parking spot. She stared at the empty lot. Had she mistakenly come to work on the weekend? She grabbed her purse and walked towards the entrance of the building. But she couldn't shake the uneasy feeling that churned in the pit of her stomach. She quickly checked her phone and confirmed that it was a Monday. Except this Monday seemed far from normal. From what she could see, the lights were turned off inside the building. And when she reached the door, she found it locked. Holly felt a chill run down her spine when she read the eviction notice taped on the glass pane. What was going on? She reached for her phone and called her boss's number. On the third ring, her boss Rob picked up. "I'm at the office right now and it's closed," she told him. "Yes, it's a minor setback," he said. Rob seemed unconcerned, and his calmness eased her anxiety. While he was on the phone, she asked about her paycheck. She'd used up her vacation time for her surgery, and she noticed that she was missing a payment. "You should have the money by next pay period," he assured her. Holly felt relief flood her body. She'd worked for Rob for the past year and felt that whatever was going on with the company would be sorted out soon. A week went by, and Holly's payment had yet to arrive. She tried calling and texting Rob, but her boss was no longer answering his phone. Out of desperation, she searched her social media contacts and found a couple of her coworkers. After chatting with them, she learned that all of the employees were laid off 3 weeks before. None of them had received their paychecks either. The news rattled Holly to the core. No one had bothered to inform her about the layoffs. She decided to call the IRS and dig for more information. When she finally spoke to an agent, she was informed that while her tax slip indicated her employment taxes were deducted, her employer never actually submitted the amounts. Holly felt numb after the call with the agent. She immediately told her family and friends about the situation, and they generously offered her money to help her stay afloat. But several months later, her situation was unchanged. She no longer felt comfortable burdening her friends and family, especially since none of them were wealthy. She also continued to search for another job, but she had no luck in finding a position that could replace her lost income. Overwhelmed and depressed about her circumstances, she barely had enough funds to buy food, and she still had to pay her rent. Then on top of that, her bills were also piling up. Holly started to toss aside her mail when a flyer from the annual International Food Festival caught her attention. The idea of attending perked her out of her misery. She was an emotional and physical wreck, and staying in an apartment wasn't helping her deal with her problems. Maybe if she went to the food festival, she could temporarily forget about her troubles. A few weeks later, Holly arrived early at the food festival. She wandered around the grounds and sat down on a bench. After a few minutes, an elderly gentleman sat down beside her, and they began chatting. Somehow the man reminded her of her grandfather. He seemed kind, and the sympathy in his eyes caused her to open up. Suddenly all the things she was afraid to tell her family and friends came to the fore. She told him about the cancer scare and the difficulties she faced since then. They spoke for many hours, and they exchanged contact information, promising to keep in touch with each other. As Holly returned home that night, she felt lighter. Somehow the talk with her new friend allowed her to release on her fears, and she no longer felt overwhelmed by her bad circumstances. Several months went by, and things still hadn't improved. Holly heard her doorbell ring, and when she opened the door, she discovered that someone had sent her flowers. As she set the lovely bouquet on her kitchen counter, she noticed a letter attached to the flowers. It read, "I hope that this gift will help you through your rough patch." Holly smiled when she realized that it was from the friend she'd met at the food festival. And then she found a check for $10,000 in the envelope. She felt an immediate lump in her throat. 9 months had passed, and she was still struggling with the after effects of her surgery. Her employer had vanished with her money, and her debts were increasing by the day. She'd prayed long and hard for help, and an angel heard her pleas. With the money she received, Holly was able to get her life back on track. She started a small business and ran it successfully for 13 years. One day, her assistant told her about a young family in the neighborhood that was about to get evicted from their home. In order to get a new place, the desperate family needed to come up with $5,000 to close on the escrow of their home. Holly knew exactly what she needed to do. She wrote a check for the full amount and paid the amount on behalf of the family. "You're an angel," the young father told her when he learned of her gift. "I'm just a person in the position to help you and your family through a rough patch," she said, smiling warmly at the family. But while Holly didn't think she was an angel, she knew that one had helped her in her time of need. Now that she was in a much better place, she could only do her part and pay it forward. What did you guys think of the story? Please comment in the comment section below. I can't wait to read your answers and discussions. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe to get the latest stories to warm your heart. Until next time, bye.